Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Undergraduate Pilot Training Graduation Ceremony for Class 2310 AU. I am Lieutenant Colonel Michael Kissinger, Commander of the 33rd Flying Training Squadron, training students in the T-6 Texan.
And I'm Lieutenant Colonel Dan Hughes, Commander of the 71st Student Squadron.
Today's ceremony is a once-in-a-lifetime event. We encourage you to come forward and take pictures or videos of your loved ones when presented an award or their wings. For your planning purposes, the wings are presented by rank and in alphabetical order.
Please stand for the entrance of the platform party and remain safe for the national anthems of Lebanon and the United States, followed by the invocation given by Chaplain Fries.
Well, good morning. It is so good to be a part. I just want to take a brief moment and say that in a room like this, there are many different faith traditions a part of this gathering, and certainly many here that have no faith tradition at all. As a chaplain, sometimes it's curious as to why we then offer an invocation. From the very beginning of our military, chaplains have been an integrated part of our fighting force. And I count it a privilege. My desire to come alongside your sons or daughters has nothing to do if they follow and fall in line with my faith tradition. I know who I am. I'm a passionate, unashamed follower of Jesus Christ. But I count it a privilege to come alongside people from all different walks of life And they seek me out not to be Bible thump, but to come alongside and support. And that's what I've done with these flights. I'm proud of you. And so I invite you together today to pray according to your tradition as I pray according to mine. If you will, pray with me. Almighty God, it is an extreme honor to stand here today with these men and women who have not only been willing to sign up and to listen to this call upon their life to fly, fight, and win, but they lean forward. God, as we recognize there is very little difference between people, but the little difference there is makes all the difference in the world. And I thank you that through the course of their training, they chose to lean forward. They chose to rise to the occasion, stand alongside one another. I am certain they had late nights that they were challenging one another to keep the faith, to stay the course, to maintain the training regiment that they were upon. But God, that didn't happen in isolation or in somehow a silo alone. Those that are standing here, and we recognize those that are not standing here, stood right alongside these students. Both family members, peers, friendships, commanders, their IPs. God, all along the way, if we could see the fingerprints of those that have had an impact on their life, we would see many handprints upon them. And even as they didn't make it to this place on their own, God, I pray that upon this graduation, that they would see this as one building block of their life, one spoke in the wheel, that they will continue to utilize the training that they've received, the knowledge that they've gained, the insights and the courage to move forward, and they would do that throughout their career. I pray a blessing upon their life and the career ahead of them. I pray, God, that as airmen, that they would maintain with rigor the Air Force core values, and that they would never allow themselves to settle for second best or to lower their standards, so that at some point in their career, their head would be hung low and they would be dismissed in disgrace. God, I pray that you would raise them up to be a generation that, God, is an example for those that will follow behind them. And on this special weekend, to commemorate those that have been willing to pay the ultimate price for the freedoms that we enjoy, that they will take within their own lives this graduation and this moment that will be cherished throughout the rest of their lives, that, God, they will heed it with great solemnity and God, solemnness, to be able to recognize what this weekend represents. Again, I pray your blessing upon them and upon their families, upon their flying and upon their career. May you continue to bless this great nation that we love and those that are serving even now in harm's way, far away. It's in your name that I pray these things. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Freese. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Today, 22 officers will receive their wings. On behalf of Colonel J. Johnson, Commander, 71st Flying Training Wing, I'd like to welcome the families and friends of Class 2310 AU, as well as members of Team Vance, including squadron commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, spouses, and our ASRC and Amentum contractors.
We are honored to have the following guests from our civil and wing leadership here to support the graduates. The Mayor, City of Enid, the Honorable David Mason. The Command Chief, 71st Flying Training Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Brandon Smith, and Airman of the Month, Airman First Class Coley from the 25th Flying Training Squadron. The Commander, 71st Operations Group, Colonel J.P. Pauls, and his spouse Yana, and his daughter Marin. The Senior Enlisted Leader, 71st Operations Group, Chief Master Sergeant Benjamin Pileski. The Commander, 71st Mission Support Group, Colonel Paul Miller. The Senior Enlisted Leader, 71st Mission Support Group, Chief Master Sergeant Eric Thomas. Representing the Commander, 71st Medical Group, Lieutenant Colonel Carl Ben. The Senior Enlisted Leader, 71st Medical Group, Chief Master Sergeant Leslie Finley. the Director of Maintenance, 71st Flying Training Wing, Dr. Sherry Teague. Additionally, we are honored to have the following distinguished visitors as special guests of Class 2310 AU. Please stand or wave your hand to be recognized. Colonel Eric Swede, Berstrom, United States Air Force, retired, and his spouse, Kathy. Colonel Chuck Dunn, United States Marine Corps, retired, and his spouse, Kelly. Chief Master Sergeant Mike Ness, United States Air Force, retired, and his spouse, Tracy.
We would also like to give a warm welcome to our guest speaker, Lieutenant General David A. Crum, United States Air Force, retired, and the Vice Commander of 71st Flying Training Wing, Colonel Matthew Astroth. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Astroth.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and pilots. That's you guys. You guys are pilots. All right. It's my privilege on behalf of the Wing Commander, Colonel Johnson, I'd like to welcome you to Vance Air Force Base in Enid, America. Today is an incredible day in the lives of these 22 new aviators as we recognize Undergraduate Pilot Training Class 2310. Mayor Mason, thank you for attending today. Your continued support to our military here and the city Enid support to us is amazing. My fellow wing leaders, group and squadron commanders and chiefs, and to our government, civilians, and contract teammates, and to all of Team Vance, welcome to today's ceremony. Today would not be possible without the efforts that you and your airmen have put forth. I'd also like to welcome our distinguished visitors. In our presence today are members of several branches of the U.S. military, active, guard, reserve, and retired. You and those that served before you have paved the way for all of us and deserve some special recognition. Thank you. All right, now for Colonel Johnson's favorite joke. To the spouses, fiancés, and those who want to be fiancés. Yeah, always gets a laugh every time. Moms, dads, grandparents, brothers, sisters, children, extended family members, and friends of Class 2310, welcome to today's ceremony. You've provided our graduates the foundation, the principles, and moral compass, and necessary work ethic to make it through this very, very demanding program. Thank you for sharing this great day with us, and welcome to Vance Air Force Base. For those unfamiliar with Air Force pilot training, Vance is one of the 4 bases whose primary mission is to conduct undergraduate pilot training. This prepares and delivers highly qualified aviators for follow-on training in various aircraft in our Air Force and those of our partner nations. In executing that mission, Vance Air Force Base has delivered over 35,000 world-class pilots since 1941, including such notables as General Richard Myers, General Ronald Fogelman, and the first female to command a space shuttle mission, Colonel Eileen Collins. Class 2310, make no mistake, you're graduated on sacred ground. Air Force heroes have walked these flight rooms and learned how to be a pilot on airplanes with VN on their tail flashes, just like you. You will make us all Vance proud. Class 2310, I'd like to share with you one of my favorite quotes by Winston Churchill. To each there comes a time in their life, a special moment when they are figuratively tapped on the shoulder and offered the chance to do a very special thing, unique to them and fitted to their talents. What a tragedy if that moment finds them unprepared or unqualified for that which may have been their finest hour. Class 2310, you are prepared to rise this occasion when the time comes. And I assure you, it will come. I can confidently make that statement because you have been weighed and measured by the best training program in the world. It takes a total team effort to get our students to this day, and I'm very proud of the collective effort that contributed to Class 2310's graduation. We pour a ton of resources into you guys to the tune of $1 million. However, it is not just money that gets them to this point. It takes a joint effort of over 2,600 airmen, government civilians, and contract partners here at Vance. Whether supporting, generating, or executing the flying mission, all played a role in graduating Class 2310. Among the teams, there are 3 groups I'd like to single out specifically. First, our instructor pilots. We have a few there in the back. The reason you don't hear more, the only people in Enid and the mayor will attest to this, that wish it would rain less are here in the room. Everybody else in Oklahoma is happy to see the rain, but they're up flying, catching us back up on timeline for Colonel Pauls, and getting after it for the classes in the class after them, and the class after them. So we couldn't do this without the hard work of our instructor corps. Second, our amazing team of professionals who maintain the aircraft. I know you guys broke a lot of airplanes because I see it every day. Dr. Teague and our joint team with Mr. Brady Wilkins at Amenum, thank you guys for all your hard work keeping these guys up in the air despite their best efforts to keep them down. And then finally, fantastic men and women that make up our support and medical corps, finance, services, security forces, all the airmen in the wing that support you guys. Thank you guys so much. Lastly, I'd like to share with you 2 questions that Colonel Johnson always brings up that would never go away, that will never go away as long as you wear Air Force wings on your chest. When 2 aviators meet, they ask 2 questions, and this is fact. Where did you go to pilot training, and what class were you in? These credibility questions are a way for pilots to figure out, okay, how good are you? Assure you, Class 2310, you can proudly say you came from Vance and you're part of 2310, and be very, very proud of that. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it's my honor and privilege to introduce our guest speaker, General David Crum. General Crum joined the Air Force in 1889, through the RTC program.
Not 1889.
No, 1989. I was busy thinking of where I was at in 89, but I won't say where that was. Anyway, he did graduate from the Auburn University, War Eagle. As command pilot, he has more than 3,000 flying hours, primarily in the F-15 and F-22. General Crum has commanded all levels, most prestigious of which he served as commander of Alaskan Command, 11th Air Force, and Northern American Aerospace Defense Command at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson. In this capacity, he directed operations to ensure effective surveillance, monitoring, and defense of our northern airspace and homeland defense. And most importantly, he is dad of one of our graduates today. General Crum, the floor is yours.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Yes, I am not 155 years old, although sometimes it feels like it. So a couple things. So today, I am going to attempt for the first time ever to use my iPad as I give you my remarks. This is either going to go exceptionally well or it's going to go exceptionally poor. We'll all find out together. So, but I do want, so first off, thanks, Matt, and Mayor Mason, our distinguished visitors, everyone, especially who made this possible. Strap, we're going to need to have a conversation why you're not named Henry with the Kissinger as your last name. I don't have to figure that out. But welcome to everyone today. It is great to be with you, with the friends, the family, and most importantly, the newest pilots in our United States Air Force. In any speech, you've always have a hierarchy of people that you've got to acknowledge. And I'll start with the people that are here today, and in fact, you're the most important people. The friends and family. Thank you for being here. Thank you for what you've done for your pilot and the here. I will tell you that just being here, and you know this, is a challenge. The medical, mental, physical qualifications that your new pilot had to overcome just to be considered are fairly strenuous. And then, after they get past all that, they probably had finished in the top 5 or 10% of whatever commissioning source they had just for a chance to be here. Once they arrived, that's when the hard part started. I will tell you that UPT is the second most difficult course that I ever attended in my 33-year career, and I had over 85 schools and programs that I attended. Weapons school is the only thing that was harder. The fact that these young women and men are here is a testament to them, but even more so, it's a testament to you. They would not be here without you. And I know you, much like me, are probably just about to burst with pride over what they've done and what they've accomplished and the young woman or man that they are. But know this, as incredible as they are, they probably would not be here without the love, the support, the encouragement that you not only gave them, but you give them today and that you will give in the future. Thank you for doing that. The second acknowledgement I need to make is all the people that make this possible. The instructors, the support, the maintenance, everything that makes this incredible machine called Undergraduate Pilot Training, or UPT, work. And I will tell you, they have challenges. They don't have enough people. The planes are too old. They break. It rains too much or it rains too little. They have too many students. They're asked to work long hours, weekends, holidays, you name it. The instructors have too many additional duties. You have many of you, as first assignment instructor pilots, are not quite sure what the Air Force is like outside of Enid, Oklahoma. You will. Thank you. Thank you for overcoming all of that. It has been the mantra forever that we have to overcome challenges to produce the best. Thank you for being committed to your students. Thank you for being committed to your craft and for really being the foundation upon which the world's greatest Air Force pilots are made. I will tell you the greatest pilots in the world are not born. They're not just created. They are handcrafted, molded, sharpened into the most amazing aviators this world has ever seen. What gives our nation's friends strength and what gives our adversaries pause is what these pilots can do. I will tell you, I am reminded of a biblical verse from Matthew that talks about a house built on the sand that does not withstand a storm and falls and crumbles. But the house that is built on a rock endures forever. And I will tell you that UPT is the foundation. It is the rock upon which our aviators are based. Without it, we would not be the world's greatest Air Force. Thank you, instructors. And then finally, to the 22 young men and men sitting in front of me here, congratulations. And because I'm old, you're going to have to bear with me for just, I'm not that old, but you're going to have to bear with me. Almost 32 years to the day, I sat in those seats that you sit in today and graduated as part of class 9110, whose patch, by the way, was an obscure Jimmy Buffett song, Off to See the Lizard. It might be the world's worst patch and motto that we've ever had, but, and I know this because it's been eliminated from any sort of squadron here on base. I tried to find it yesterday. In 91, it was a different time. The first Iraqi war had concluded, and the Air Force was in the beginning of becoming almost half the size it was in 1991. We were downsizing. Of the 26 graduates in my class, 11 of us got airplanes. 15 of us were banked, i.e. they went to their first assignment and didn't fly. And then they came back and flew later on. I want you to know that you'll see challenges in our Air Force, but those challenges have always been around. The challenges differ. They become bigger, they become smaller, but they always will be there. There will always be too few pilots or too many pilots. There will always be too many broken airplanes or not enough airplanes. The airplanes will always be having fatigue, or they'll be so new that they're not reliable enough. There'll be too many deployments, there'll be not enough training, you name it, there will be obstacles. And without any exception, you may think some of those challenges are insurmountable. They are not. They will be overcome, and they will be overcome by you. You will figure out how to overcome those challenges, and you will solve the toughest problems that we have. That's the way it's always been, and we're relying on you to do that. And as I thought about what I should really say to you guys, I thought, gosh, what kind of words of wisdom can an old guy give them? And I thought, you know what? They're about to start an amazing journey They're going to go into a career and a profession that is just absolutely spectacular. And oh, by the way, I would swap places with any of you in a nanosecond. But so I said, you know what? My career went okay. I'm going to convey to them the incredible words that my graduation speaker gave to me when I was sitting in those seats. And then it struck me. What are the words that I carried with me from my graduation speaker? And as I thought, I realized that not only do I have any idea what my graduation speaker said, I don't have any idea who he was, what he looked like, or anything. And my only recollection of him was actually, I was fortunate enough to win a couple of awards. And when I came up on stage to get my first award, the wing commander whispered to the speaker, "That's the Top Gun." To which the graduation speaker replied incredulously, "Really?" So with that strength of confidence, I started my Air Force operational career. So knowing that my words probably won't stand with you throughout your career, I want to offer a couple words that you already know. And they're words that the entire generation of Air Force officers that are pilots carry with them. 3 phrases that you know by heart. And you'll remember them verbatim, as well as in spirit. And the first one is maintain aircraft control. When times are tough is when you'll be asked to make sense of chaotic situations. That everything else around you is speeding up and blurring by. You have to maintain control of the situation. Sounding good on the radio is a good first start. But here's what I try to remember. Never let the moment overwhelm you. You overwhelm the moment. The second is analyze the situation and take proper action. We used to say take appropriate action. I'm not sure what proper is any better than appropriate, but Katie, my daughter, has assured me that if I said take appropriate action, you guys will all scoff me. So when you analyze the situation, you take in all the data. You compare it. You try to understand what's going on and what you should do. Think about it, decide what you're going to do, and then you act. I cannot tell you the number of people that you will look at that will be paralyzed by the situation, that they are unable to act. You must think, decide, and then do. And then, if things change, revisit all the above and adjust accordingly. And the third is land as soon as conditions permit. Situations in life are complicated. Sometimes you have to solve the problem as quickly as you can. Sometimes you need to make sure that you're going to be in the right landing spot. Don't make a situation worse by trying to put it away too early. Make sure you complete it, make sure you understand it, and make sure you look for the right runway to land on. Simple guidance, but it works. If you put into practice what you've learned here at pilot training, I promise you things are going to be better. You know, the other thing that I think as you sit there is something that I didn't realize at the time, and probably the most important part of my career, is that everyone sitting next to you is a part of your lives, and they will be for the rest of your life. You're an Air Force wingman. The people sitting to your left and right, in front and back of you, are Air Force wingmen. Being a wingman is much bigger. It's much more than just being in formation, just being visual. It's supporting, encouraging, backing up, being there when you're needed, and having someone when you need them. Being a wingman is a calling like no other. Absolutely like no other. It's joy, anger, frustration, sadness, every emotion you can think of, but above all, it's being there. The strength, comfort, and reassurance of having a wingman can get you through anything. And you guys are wingmen to each other. The people in my career that I flew with, that I went through all those training programs with, they're my wingmen. They're my brothers. They're my sisters, my friends, my classmates from UPT, from weapons school, from F-22, from F-15 training. I laughed with, I cried with, I rejoiced with, I fought with. And today, I love them. They've always been there for me, and I for them. You're part of an elite community now. And you need to know that the good and the bad, you know all that comes with flying. And I promise you that there will be higher highs and there will be lower lows. But that bond between you will keep you together, and it will help you in so many more areas other than flying. Someday, and it's going to happen in a blink of an eye, then more faster than you could ever believe, some of you will probably be up and talking in front of a UPT class, maybe class 2043. Seems like a far away. I thought 23 was really far away in 91. And I will offer you the best advice that I have ever had as a speaker. And that is the things you need to remember that when you're talking is that no one is going to remember everything you said. Some people are going to remember a small part of what you said, but everyone, and I mean everyone, will remember how long did it take you to say it. So knowing that, here's what I hope you all remember. Every one of you, each one of you in some way, you're going to keep our Air Force the best in the world. Our Air Force is the best in the world not because of our airplanes, it's because of our people. I am eternally grateful for what you have done and for what you will do for our Air Force, our nation, and this world. God bless you all. Congratulations.
Thank you, General Crum. Class 2310 would like to present you with a small token of their appreciation for being part of this special occasion.
Is it something from 1889?
Close.
We will now recognize individuals who excelled in one or more phases of training. The new pilots competed for academic, leadership, and flying training awards, as well as the top wingman, distinguished graduate, and the coveted AATC Commander's Trophy. Each phase of training was carefully weighed, and only a slight margin separated the top performers. Lieutenant Colonel Ben will now present the Academic Excellence Award to the pilot whose overall academic test averages exceeded those of their peers. The recipient of the Academic Award is Second Lieutenant Austin A. Cole.
Colonel Miller will now present the Leadership Award. The Leadership Award is presented to the officer who demonstrated outstanding leadership qualities and potential throughout this most rigorous and demanding military training program. The recipient of the Leadership Award is Captain Matthew D. Kellum.
And now, Colonel Pauls will present the Flying Training Award. The Flying Training Award is presented to the pilot whose daily flying performance and check ride scores exceeded those of their peers. The recipient of the Flying Training Award is Captain Bryce P. Colson.
Colonel Ashroth will now present the Top Wingman Award. Selected by their peers, the Top Wingman Award is presented to the graduate who epitomized the support and teamwork critical to being a great wingman. The recipient of the Top Wingman Award is Second Lieutenant Jacob P. Hoppy.
Colonel Ashroth will now present the Distinguished Graduate Awards. To be selected for this honor, a student must maintain an exceptionally high average in all phases of training and finish in the top 10% of the class. The first distinguished graduate is Captain Bryce B. Colson. The second distinguished graduate is Second Lieutenant Jacob P. Hoppy.
Finally, the most prestigious trophy that Air Education and Training Command presents to a pilot training graduate is the AETC Commander's Trophy. This pilot excelled in both flying qualities and academics and demonstrated the initiative and leadership qualities essential to the professional Air Force officer. Additionally, they personified the tenets of the Order of Dedalians, a group dedicated to military aviation, personal integrity, and patriotism. Lieutenant General David Crum will present the special award reserved for the officer who attained the highest overall rating throughout the entire program. And the winner of the ATC Commander's Trophy is Captain Bryce B. Colson.
And now, the time that we have all been waiting for. Colonel Ashroth will formally present the diplomas and pilot wings to our graduates. As they exit the stage, they will receive a commemorative coin with a unique graduation number from the 71st Student Squadron, First Sergeant, Master Sergeant Kerry Wilson. The new pilots, families, and friends are invited to pin on the Air Force wings following the graduation ceremony.
Having completed the required course of training, the following officers from Class 2310 AU are awarded the aeronautical rating of Air Force Pilot. Captain Matthew D. Kellum.
Captain Bryce P. Colson.
Captain Kenneth R. Griffin III.
Second Lieutenant Nick J. Barth.
Second Lieutenant Jason M. Brown. 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 Second Lieutenant Jason M. Brown.
Second Lieutenant Joshua J. Bird.
Second Lieutenant Ryan C. Kashan.
Second Lieutenant Austin A. Cole.
Second Lieutenant Owen C. Dunn.
Second Lieutenant Noah A. Griffin.
Second Lieutenant Jonathan D. Graues.
Second Lieutenant Forrest R. Hargett.
Second Lieutenant Jacob P. Hoppy.
Second Lieutenant Mustafa A. Kalakash.
Second Lieutenant Catherine H. Crum.
Second Lieutenant Riley C. Nemo.
Second Lieutenant Drew C. Ness.
Second Lieutenant Colin J. Reed.
Good take. Second Lieutenant Matthew A. Reekers.
Second Lieutenant Nicholas M. Serpico.
Second Lieutenant Danielle L. Southard.
Second Lieutenant Jacqueline I. Thompson. At this time, Colonel Asroth would like to recognize the instructor pilots selected by Class 2310 AU, who most embodied the Air Force core values during T6 training and provided exceptional mentorship and instruction. These instructors were selected by the class to read the time-honored poem of the Breaking of the Wings. Colonel Asroth will present the recipients with a plaque prior to the reading of this hallowed poem. Receiving the award from the 33rd Flying Training Squadron, Captain Marcus White. And from the 33rd Flying Training Squadron, Captain Isaac Strever.
The breaking of the wings. Since man started flying, he has taken to the air was a certain amount of risk. To counter peril, a tradition was established years ago when the Army Air Corps started issuing pilot wings to their aviators. This tradition is called the breaking of the wings. At every UPT graduation, the Air Force issues new pilots their first pair of wings. As tradition has it, that first pair should never be worn by the pilot.
To bring good fortune through their aviation career, the novice pilot should break the emblem into two parts. One half is kept by the new pilot, the other half is given to someone of significance in their lives. To preserve that good luck, those two halves should only be brought together again in the next life, promising successful flight through eternity.
Graduates, you are invited to take part in this tradition with your family and friends at a time and place of your choosing following the ceremony.